All right, welcome to another explainer. Look, today we're absolutely challenging how most organizations handle information. If you're a focus leader and you want to maximize your impact, you're in exactly the right place. We're diving into the architecture of strategic data influence. We often think of storytelling with data as this tedious technical chore, right? Something strictly for the analysts or the data scientists down the hall to worry about. But the reality? Actually, scratch that. The absolute truth is that it's a fundamental leadership skill. So let's jump straight in and see how mastering this completely transforms complex numbers into real, tangible strategic power.
So let's just bust a common illusion right out of the gate here. Data by itself does not create alignment. We've all barely survived that meeting, haven't we? You know the one. The presenter throws this massive 50-tab spreadsheet or some incredibly dense, unreadable chart up on the screen, just assuming that showing accurate factual numbers is going to be enough to inspire action. It's this wild belief that the data will just, speak for itself. But here's the hard truth. It literally almost never does. Throwing numbers at a wall completely fails to create a shared vision or drive a team forward.
Now, before we really map out the mechanics of how to fix this, I have to give a massive, massive shout out to AscendPath Career Strategies. The foundational insights, the overviews, and really the visual frameworks driving our entire exploration today, they come directly from their brilliant work. They've done a phenomenal job charting out the exact career strategy required to elevate how we handle information, and we're heavily leaning on their concepts to bring this explainer to life for you today.
Okay, so there is a stark, undeniable contrast between data outputs and leadership outcomes. And honestly, this agitates a massive pain point in business today. Think about it. A dashboard doesn't just magically create urgency. A weekly report doesn't automatically create clarity. And a spreadsheet, no matter how beautifully color-coded it is, does not create buy-in. Those are just outputs. The whole shebang of true leadership is bridging that gap. High-impact leaders take those raw outputs and turn them into a story that people can easily understand, completely trust, and most importantly, immediately act on. Okay, let's dive into this. How do we actually bridge that gap? Now, if you're a non-technical leader, you might be sitting there wondering, do I need to go back to school? Am I going to have to start coding in Python at 2 a.m. just to understand advanced statistics? Absolutely not. No way. Your goal is not to become a data scientist. It's actually much more straightforward than that, yet incredibly powerful. You just need to keep your focus entirely on strategy. And to do that, you really only need to learn how to reliably answer 3 specific questions whenever someone puts data in front of you.
And here is your new roadmap. Step 1, what is the data really saying? Listen, not every single number matters. Strong leaders are absolute experts at separating the signal from the noise. It's like ignoring vanity metrics, so you can find the core truth behind, say, a sudden spike in customer churn. Step 2, why does it matter to the business? Data only becomes truly valuable when it connects to something tangible. We're talking emerging risks, costs, revenue, or customer experience. You've got to make that connection totally explicit. And step 3, which is honestly the most crucial, what should we do next? The absolute best data stories never just end with someone reading a list of numbers. They end with clear, actionable direction. This whole approach builds into a massive paradigm shift in how we communicate. Far too many professionals out there present data like it's evidence in a courtroom. They just lay out the facts and hope the jury or, the stakeholders somehow figure out the verdict on their own. But high-impact leaders, they do something totally different. They present data as a decision framework. They aren't just proving that something happened in the past, they are actively framing a choice that needs to be made right now. That is the fundamental difference between old-school technical reporting and true strategic leadership. So, here is exactly how you construct that decision framework. This is a tactical 5-pillar breakdown that turns incredibly complex information into pure strategic clarity. Instead of just throwing a graph on the screen, you walk your audience through these exact focus areas. First, you isolate the change. What actually shifted in the numbers? Then, the pattern. Out of all these random trends, what pattern actually matters to us right now? Next, you highlight the risk. What storm is brewing that we need to mitigate? Then, you pivot to opportunity. What new door is opening up for us because of this shift? And finally, action. Based on all of this context, what specific action should we take? By systematically walking through these 5 elements, you're not just reporting information anymore, you are actively guiding a strategic decision.
It really all comes down to this core philosophy. Leadership is not about having more data. It is about creating better judgment from the data you already have. Let that sink in for a second.
At the higher levels of any organization, your true value isn't just in pulling the numbers. Honestly, everyone has access to the numbers these days. Your unique, irreplaceable value is in helping others understand exactly what those numbers mean. It's that rare ability to translate raw, messy data into refined, strategic judgment. And the ultimate payoff of this entire framework? It's what we call the pipeline to strategic trust. When you finally master storytelling with data, you unlock the next level of your career. For sure, you become that go-to professional who reliably translates complexity into crystal clear clarity. That is exactly how your data becomes actual, real-world influence in the boardroom. It's how a neat little insight becomes a concrete action plan, and ultimately, it's how non-technical managers transform into highly trusted executives who have earned strategic trust at the absolute highest levels of the company. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. But before you go, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. The very next time you prepare for a presentation or a big meeting, I want you to ask yourself, will you just report the numbers or will you translate them into influence? The choice of how you frame your data is exactly what will dictate the impact of your leadership. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredibly vital source material today. Keep learning, keep focusing on that clarity, and I'll see you in the next explainer.